Today I want to talk about Kennedy Brooks, Mallory Jeck, and Title IX. Unpack that a bit. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today I want to unpack Kennedy Brooks, Mallory Jeck, and Title IX. But first, let's set the table. For those of you that live underneath that particular rock, the reason that we're talking about this and we're talking about Kennedy Brooks is because he's the leading returning rusher at Oklahoma, had over 1,000 yards rushing in 119 attempts, averaged nearly a first down every time he carried the ball, is still supposed to be a big part of Oklahoma's offense heading into a season when the coaches poll already has them ranked as number 4 in the country. Then Friday night, Mallory Jeck identified herself as a victim of abuse by Kennedy Brooks. She wrote 16 tweets outlining how she felt and how she thought she was being portrayed by the university and by others. Among those things, my man Tyler Palmatier had a really great paragraph that I want to read for you in the Norman transcript. It says, Brooks was held out of OU football activities while Title IX investigated the allegations, but was reinstated July 10th after the office finished its findings. Jeck alleged mental and physical violence in a lengthy Twitter thread and said she is being played as the girl who lied about being abused. However, I'm the girl who protected a liar and an abuser's career until now, end quote. Now, she has since protected her account, which I don't blame her for, because if you looked at any of the replies to the really well-constructed story and Twitter thread she put together, it was clear, it was to the point, she was felt. I mean, that was, you get an A in communication there. Also, it is very important that we take in her story. She did not have to tell anybody. She did what she needed to do. This is a woman who claimed she's in a relationship with Kennedy Brooks from June 2018 to March of this year, that she went to Title IX, the office at OU in May, where they started their investigation. Before we go any further and see what Lincoln Riley had to say about all of this later on Saturday afternoon, I want to give everybody a working understanding of the part of Title IX that we are talking about, where the question is, does it cover sexual harassment and sexual violence? It does. Title IX covers all forms of sexual harassment and sexual violence and is considered a form or is considered a form of sexual harassment. So this is to say anything that goes under sexual harassment falls under Title IX. It includes any unwelcome sexual conduct, unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, verbal, nonverbal, or physical conduct of any kind of sexual nature. Now, where does this get wonky? It gets wonky in that a Title IX investigation is not a criminal investigation, and that is very important because the difference is, one, she would have needed to go to the authorities or at least empowered Title IX investigators to go to authorities, and she has not and did not at the time. Now, the difference between criminal sexual assault investigation and a Title IX investigation is such. In a criminal sexual assault investigation, law enforcement must establish that either sexual conduct or sexual contact, penetration occurred, the victim either did not consent or was not capable of consenting, and if the victim did not consent, the defendant knew or should have known the victim was not capable of consenting. In a Title IX investigation, the burden to establish sexual misconduct is a preponderance of evidence, which means evidence that proves it is more likely than not that the sexual assault occurred. From Kennedy Brooks being removed from the team to the part where he was reinstated, we can ascertain that a Title IX investigation performed by the University of Oklahoma did not reach that preponderance of evidence where they felt that sexual misconduct, sexual harassment had occurred. And this is very interesting because now it's basically moot unless she goes for some sort of criminal charge, right? And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen because she didn't at the time. Now, what did Lincoln Riley have to say about this? Well, it's very interesting. That's what I wanted to know. And really what I want to know before I made this upload is because that is going to be crucial about how he states whatever it is he believes, which I think is that he needed to stay out of it and let Title IX run its course. And according to my man Eric Bailey, who covers OU for the Tulsa World, Riley's quotes about the Title IX investigation were, "It's a topic that we're extremely sensitive to. We have around the year education with our guys on that. It's something that we take extremely serious. When there is an inquiry or process ongoing, we're proactive enough to remove our guys from the team before a decision has even been made. We take it as serious as we possibly can, and we let the people whose job that is to do their job. He went on, we're not an investigative body. It's made extremely clear to us. Our university does a great job of education that we're not investigators. We let the investigators handle it. They tell us what the decision is, and then we take it from there. That's on the nose. That's what you expected the head coach to say. That's where the head coach and the university stand. But if they needed to be more clear, they became more clear when they released a statement ahead of Lincoln Riley's availability earlier today at noon. The statement from the university says this about being made aware of Mallory Jack's allegations. OU has been made aware of social media posts in reference to a recent Title IX investigation. Title IX reports and investigations are confidential in order to protect privacy of both the individual reporter and the respondent involved in the investigation. University policy is to conduct investigations involving student athletes independent of OU athletics. At no time does the Office of Institutional Equity engage the athletics department in the evaluation of evidence during or following an investigation. All individuals who file a Title IX complaint are provided counseling with confidential advocates, accommodations that include academic scheduling and referrals to other agencies for additional recourse, including but not limited to local police departments. Filing a Title IX report does not limit the ability of either party from pursuing action through the courts or criminal justice system. Our responsibility under Title IX in a university setting is to ensure a safe learning environment free of harassment and discrimination for our students, to provide requested accommodations, to determine violations of policy where the evidence shows threats to safety, to take steps to stop and prevent its recurrence. Covers it, or so you might think. The thing about all of this that I want to underscore that is really the take here is take her at her word, one. Two, Title IX investigation is not a criminal investigation. A criminal investigation would be much more thorough, and that is what law enforcement's job is to do, and that is the reason to seek out the authorities if you want to do that. Now, in her Twitter thread, she said one of the reasons that she didn't want to do that was to protect Kennedy Brooks and his career. She also claims to have grown up a big fan of the team. And that was another thing that was preventing her from doing that. So all of this comes back to one point, though. If for whatever reason you think that the Title IX investigation, and by you I mean the University of Oklahoma, was not enough, perhaps present that to her or acknowledge it, right? At the very least. Now we're getting into civil procedure, RJ. We're getting into a civil suit. Nobody wants to get sued, even though I believe that's the American pastime. I can only say, I don't stand for any kind of sexual harassment. I don't stand for any kind of sexual misconduct. I have zero tolerance for it in my house with the people in my life. And as a person who is directly responsible for two small little girls and their mother, I'm just not going to put up with it. So if I'm Mallory Jack's dad, yeah, I'm very upset about this. And as a dude who looks after two little girls, I'd be very, very upset about this. And I would let my feelings be known. Also, try to get whatever justice that I could get for my baby girl. And I understand that is how Mallory Jack and her parents must be feeling right about now, in addition to her friends. However, these are the facts on the ground. This is what you probably clicked on the thumbnail to learn. I can only say I support the women in my life, and everything good that has happened to me has been because a woman has told me or helped me get there. My lit agent is a woman who picked my book up off a pile. My editor for that book is a woman who picked that book up off of a pile. My girlfriend has had my back throughout this entire journey from YouTube all the way to this radio show. My mother has had my back from the day that she gave birth to me, and she fought for me in 54 hours of labor. That one of the people who was very interested in me and the start of what this channel was before I even knew what I was doing is a woman. Terry was out there with it going, hey, RJ, do this thing, man. I think this is what you're supposed to do. And I can look around at lots of dudes who just didn't do that for me and also did take advantage of me and took advantage of how willing I was to just try to do well and try to do good. So no, I'm gonna come down on this with the woman saying, hey, this happened to me. All right, I support you. And we'll take it from there. That's what I believe, and that's me. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.